The penultimate episode of Season 3 of From has just been released, and even though the episode was titled Revelations Part 1, we didn't quite get the answers in obvious sight. However, the ending definitely alluded to Tabitha being connected to Victor's past in a way that allowed her to almost re-experience it. Could she be the reincarnation of Victor's mother Miranda? Well, we're going to be discussing exactly that, as well as Tabitha's potential connection. We also saw the entirety of the town searching for Fatima, and Elgin looking even more like a twisted individual as he pretended to help the husband of the very woman that he kidnapped. It's messed up, right? So with that, let's jump into the video, discuss all the latest theories and break down the important details. Here is From Season 3 Episode 9, Ending Explained. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. What's happening with Tabitha? Well, within this episode, we were teased with Tabitha having a connection to Victor when she first touched him, and then when she went to the root cellar, she had the exact same experience again. An almost deja vu type feeling where there was a sense of familiarity with the environment and the space that she was in. At first, we didn't truly know what it was, but during the closing moments of the episode when she hugged Victor, she saw Miranda's final moments as she bid farewell to Victor and Eloise in that very cellar several decades ago. This was as she went to the faraway tree with the hopes of finding a way out. However, Miranda was met by the smiley creature and he ended up killing her in the forest by the tree. Tabitha saw and felt all of this as if it had happened to her before, and this to me showed that the reincarnation theory could well be correct. This would mean that Tabitha is the reincarnation of Miranda, Victor's mother, and all of the connections that we've seen so far throughout this season that were joining the both of them, such as them both being considered the chosen one, the bracelet that they both had, and also the song that was her and Jim's song, which was also Miranda's favorite. It's now starting to make sense as to why there were so many similarities. If you think about how long ago Miranda also died, it was probably about 4 decades ago. This is because Victor is a man in his 50s and he was around 10 years old when his mother died. Tabitha is a woman that is said to be in her early 40s, so the math of her being reincarnated as Tabitha would actually make sense. I'm not that educated on reincarnation as an actual thing. However, I do know that people that do believe in reincarnation have often said that you can dream of the previous life that you used to live from time to time. And that could well be why Tabitha has the ability to see what was going on in the past. This could also mean that the people there are reincarnations of other people that once resided in Fromsville. We saw somebody that looked like they were from hundreds of years ago, so that could mean that each and every person in that town was once somebody else. They were all clearly destined to be there, so I'm hoping this will get developed more in the next episode. However, for now, all of those connections between Tabitha and Miranda are now making sense. Fatima's situation. Well, we know why it was that Fatima killed Tilly, and it very much seems like a Rosemary's Baby situation is on the horizon. The creature inside of Fatima was able to take control of her mind and get her to kill Tilly because it was frustrated at the fact that she chose to not eat the spoiled crops and it was hungry. During this episode, Elgin fed Fatima the blood that he drew from himself because he was told that that was what the baby would have wanted. Fatima is carrying a baby for the Kimono Lady, and now that she's within the prison and following the rules that Elgin and the Kimono Lady set, the pregnancy is rapidly increasing. Sarah heard voices in this episode which told her that Fatima was still alive and that she was taken by somebody and that she was close by. However, they said that nobody would be able to save her and that when they found her, it would apparently be too late. I'm starting to wonder if Fatima's life is actually going to be compromised in delivering this baby. We don't even know if it's going to come out like a regular baby, or if the show is just going to go all alien on us. But if it did that, then it could quite be the end for Fatima. Elgin said how Fatima wasn't a prisoner, but at the same time, he wasn't letting her go. He's under the impression that the birth of this creature is for the greater good of the townspeople, but I really don't think that's the case. I think Elgin is being played, and when the townspeople find out that he was involved, he's going to have to face judgment. That's if the creatures don't get him first, as it does seem like he could be thrown to the side by the Kimono Lady once this new creature is born. I wonder if this newborn creature is what will be the replacement for the smiley creature, and it'll be like a 1-for-1. It seems like balance and everything having a purpose is something that's important within the town. So when one creature goes, it feels like another has to come so it can be in its place. Elgin was genuinely acting like a madman in this episode by asking Ellis if he needed a hand when looking for his wife. It's clear to see that he's following what the Kimono Lady has said to him and that he's almost been brainwashed into trusting her. when in reality, I don't think that's going to be the case at all. Fatima found a door to a level even deeper underground in the cellar, but she wasn't able to get it open. I'm wondering if the voices telling Sarah that it would be too late is because she's going to end up going even deeper, and when they do arrive in the cellar, she'll simply be gone. Fatima may end up giving birth to this baby that will be taken by the creatures in the depths of Fromsville. The Kimono Lady had a hand over Fatima's mouth and looked like she was about to do something, so Fatima's time might well be up. Victor's self-blame. As per usual, Victor was incredible in this episode. He's genuinely becoming my favorite character because his performance is so strong. With Victor remembering that it was the boy in white that told Christopher the secrets and not Jasper, and him remembering that he told his mother about what he heard, which ultimately led to her death. He was now regretting digging deeper because he started to blame himself for the fact that she ended up being killed. With that blame, he looked to destroy the very tree which he told her about, but as he was doing so, the boy in white appeared and told him to stop destroying it as it was important. He also said that everything was changing and that he tried to help the people of the town in the past with what he told Christopher. The boy in white could quite literally tell Victor what's going on, but he's choosing not to. One would have to imagine that the faraway tree being destroyed would have devastating consequences for the town, as we know that it's pretty much at the heart of it and has been the only way that somebody's managed to get out. So there's definitely an energy or a force that's at play which gives it its power. The boy in white is somebody that I'm also starting to question a lot too, especially around what their intentions are. Victor referred to him as a friend, and he even said himself that he was. But the lack of transparency between the both of them and the riddles that he talks in is starting to make me think that he's quite happy observing the changes that are occurring and the fact that the town is looking to be in the worst state that it's been in since the mass slaughtering. Donna's grief. I found Donna's arc in this episode to be one which was interesting, albeit brief. There was a flashback that occurred where we saw Donna looking back on her time with Fatima and how important of a figure she was within the community. So much so that it made Donna change her mind about telling everybody about how she killed Tilly. Donna was almost in a sense of mourning before she even knew what the fate of Fatima was, and I found that particularly interesting. Death is something that's at the heart of the town, and it's as if the death of Fatima was something that was going to not only push her over the edge, but push the very people of the town over the edge. The people of the town don't know that Fatima is responsible for the death of Tilly, but if she does survive what the Kimono Lady has been putting her through, and the townspeople find out, then I think their opinions will change. Boyd's worst fear. During this episode, Boyd's Parkinson's was getting worse. His leg froze up and his hand wouldn't stop shaking. This made him realize that there were greater threats to his life rather than just the night creatures that were out to get him. This made him open up to Ellis, but also to Kenny too, in wanting to know that the town was going to be looked after and his family would be after he was gone, in case it happened sooner than he realized. Boyd thought back to what we saw in episode 1, where the creatures said that they were doing what they were doing because they wanted him to be broken due to a throwaway comment that he made where he said that he wouldn't let the town break him. He felt like Fatima was almost a pawn in their game of trying to hurt him, and whilst I don't think that's 100% true, I do think they selected Fatima for that reason, because it's causing Boyd to go against the town in harboring her when she went against the best interest of the town and caused one of them to be killed. It was said that Boyd's leadership was thrown into question in the previous episode, but with him rallying everybody together and getting an offensive mindset at the heart of the people, in showing that they wouldn't let the creatures get the better of them, the people were still on his side and were looking at him for leadership. I do think it will come out that he knew about what Fatima did in the finale, and the divide will be formed. It has been brewing for some time, and I think the town has to break Boyd at one point. Jim became Parent of the Year. Did we just see Jim and Tabitha become Parents of the Year in Fromsville? Well, I think they just did. Jim has definitely not been that great of a character in this season of the show, as he's just been pottering around. But what we did see was him actually being there for his son Ethan in this episode, because Ethan blamed himself for what happened to Julie. And then on the flip side, Ethan also gave some wise words to his father about the monsters pretending to be Thomas. Tabitha also did the same with Julie as she opened up to her about what actually happened when she went into the ruins and ended up impacting the timeline of Fromsville. Both Tabitha and Jim needed this with their children, as they've been quite divided for the entirety of Season 3. The openness that they had is something that I hope carries into the finale, and the secrets won't be as prominent moving forward. Even Jim going to confront Randall was a W-dad move from him, so he definitely had some good moments. Other notable moments in the episode. There were two other moments that stood out to me in this week's episode. The first was Jade building his own bottle tree. Whilst he was putting on the final bottle, he saw Christopher and Jasper sitting on top of the roof, and Jasper let out a shriek towards Jade. Jade has been seeing people from the town throughout different time periods, so I'm wondering if he's seeing them because they're people that he actually recognizes from different time periods throughout the reincarnation chain, as everybody that he's seen has been in that town before. Could he be the reincarnation of somebody? I think so. Another moment that's worth mentioning is the fact that Randall is still suffering from what occurred in Season 2 and the chattering sound and bugs that are appearing in front of him. My review of the episode. I thought this was probably one of the better episodes in the season. There was a massive revelation hinted at, and the reincarnation theory is one that's been floating around, so it's good to see us actually getting closer to finding out what's going on. This was an episode where it was all about developments, and we finally got some. There weren't any monsters in this episode, other than a brief one that appeared in front of Boyd and the flashback with Smiley at the end, so I'm hoping there's going to be a load more featured in the season finale. All of the arcs felt like they had direction in this episode and were building towards something, so I appreciated the fact that it wasn't just mindlessly flowing between the characters. Elgin is a character that I'm really not liking at the moment. I do feel bad for him because he's clearly being taken advantage of by the Kimono Lady, but the almost smile and soft tone that he has whilst he's keeping Fatima prisoner is just haunting to see. I would say that Victor's performance is probably my favourite. You get so many different emotions from him and I just buy into the character completely. The fear that he had over being responsible for his family and the town's death translated through the screen so well, and you felt the weight that he was carrying. Do I think the final episode will be a good one? Well, I really hope it is. The show has definitely redeemed itself following episode 7, and with the finale promising even more revelations, one would have to hope that it's gonna be a big one. With a week to wait, I guess we'll just have to see. So, there you have it, from Season 3 Episode 9, Ending Explained. If you want to see every episode broken down from Season 3, then click on the card in the top corner. There's an entire playlist there. What did you think of this episode? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. As always, thanks for tuning into the video and I'll see you in the next one.